Welcome to the Chamber to Community Back to Business NWA series. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'm Karen Wagaman, Vice President for Downtown Development with the Rogers-Lowell Area Chamber of Commerce. This virtual series was created as a response to businesses seeking tools and tactics to help them through the COVID-19 pandemic. This session is being recorded and will be added to our C2C playlist on our YouTube channel. So you can check that out at Rogers-Lowell Chamber. And I will send you a link once we have it uploaded so you can watch it again or you can share it with your friends and associates. Now I would like to thank our Community Builder sponsors who are making this free series possible. Cox Communications, Black Hills Energy, and of course we want to thank Startup Junkie for providing the program, C2C, Kiva Microloans for COVID-19 Small Business Relief. Today's subject matter is our expert, Martha Londigan. And Martha is an executive consultant with Startup Junkie Foundation, where she consults with small business owners and entrepreneurs regarding all aspects of starting or growing a business. Martha has worked as a business banker, a business attorney, Walton College Business Center consultant, and as a public school educator, and she is a former chairperson of the Rogers-Lowell Chamber of Commerce Small Business Council. Martha's currently serving as Capital Asset Manager for the NWA Kiva Hub. Martha will also be joined by her team member, Alvin Singh, with Kiva NWA Program, and he's the Associate Marketing Manager. No, I said that wrong. Alvin is the Program Associate and Marketing Manager. And if you have questions, please add them to the chat and they will be answered at the end of this discussion. And we will send you the slides and our YouTube link when we have that posted. So Martha, I'd like to turn it over to you and to Alvin.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen. We're thrilled to be here today to tell you about Kiva and the program in Northwest Arkansas and the program nationally. And after this, I'm going to send a copy of these slides to Karen and Jeff at the Chamber, and they'll be getting them out to you so you don't have to keep super detailed notes. I'm also going to show you how to contact me or Alvin at any time to assist you with the program. You can go on Kiva and just apply yourself, but if you're in Washington or Benton County, your application is going to come to me anyway. So we like to talk to folks and help them get ready for the application process to make it go more quickly. Alvin, do you want to say hello to everyone for just a second?
Yep. Hello, everybody. How you doing? My name is Alvin Singh, and I'm with Startup Junkie Foundation from Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm a new resident of Northwest Arkansas. Enjoying the great businesses here.
And so, in fact, after this program, Alvin and I are scooting out really quickly. We're going to Bentonville, Arkansas to meet with a Kiva applicant, and Alvin's going to take their profile picture, which he's a pro at now, and you'll see some information about that. And so we do travel the region to help folks out. So now I'm going to start my screen share, and do note I won't be able to see questions in chat, but Karen will help to monitor that. And I'm going to start sharing and going through some information for you. So this is our Startup Junkie Foundation website where you can find everything out about what's going on with Startup Junkie. And so we are funded through multiple partnerships. We're a nonprofit, so there's never a charge for our services or our events. We're funded by the Walton Family Foundation out of Bentonville, the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, and other partners like the U.S. Small Business Administration for special projects. You can always go here to events, and when you click there, you can see it takes you to our Eventbrite, which shows you all of the events that are going on in Northwest Arkansas that we're part of. And in fact, we have another program on October 15th with the Rogers-Lowell Chamber. We're bringing the Arkansas Procurement and Technical Assistance Team and the Arkansas SBA officers to talk about how to get government contracts and free assistance with that for women, minorities, and disabled veterans and other persons who are disadvantaged and can take advantage of those programs with the government. So these are all examples of events you can sign up for free. To find us at Kiva Northwest Arkansas, you just go here under programs. And so these are other programs we administer, the Fuel Accelerator, which is for tech companies. The Science Venture Group, which is our branch that helps people apply for SBIR, science grants and medical device grants from the government. And there's our Kiva Northwest Arkansas website. So you can always go to this website. We've actually got really good free SEO. If you type in Kiva NWA into Google, we pop right up. This is where you can click. We don't have a borrower live right now on the Kiva site that I'm getting ready to show you, but this is where you could click to see if we have someone live and fundraising. And there's my contact info. There's Alvin's contact info. You can click here. This is really great. And you can see all of our Kiva borrowers. We're actually at 22 now since we launched in January, and you can click on their profiles and read about them. You can see all the different kinds of businesses. This is one in Eureka Springs. So we do branch out and help folks out in Carroll and Madison County as well. So we're really happy to have this website for people to contact us. And there's also a great video down here that you can click on and watch and share that tells all about our program and the community support we have. So that's a great way to just know how to contact us. And now I'm going to go ahead and pull up the slides for the official presentation. And so you can see here, it talks about Kiva in general, which Kiva is international. And I'm going to show you the website in a little bit, and then our local hub. And so the hub means that someone through some partnership has been able to fund people like me and Alvin to get proper training from Kiva to help borrowers go through the application process. And we also see here Kiva's mission.
Martha?
Yes.
I'm not seeing your screen.
Not seeing my screen. Okay, hang on. Thank you very much, Karen. All right, how about that?
Coming in.
There we go.
Yep.
Sorry about that. You know, as much as I do this, you'd think I'd have it down perfectly, but I often don't. So, all right. So this is a slide to tell you about what is Kiva. Kiva is not new. The hub in Northwest Arkansas, which provides the one-on-one assistance, is new, but Kiva was established in 2005. It is international. I'm going to show you the site in a little bit, and you can see there are people from countries all over the world loan raising on Kiva. It has 1.8 million lenders in the world who like to loan to people. And that's the big difference we're going to talk about in here, is that Kiva is a business loan program in the United States. It is not a handout. It is not a donation like some other sites. And the lenders come on to Kiva because they want to enable and help those who have historically been disadvantaged in the United States in gaining access to capital. And capital is just a fancy word for money and funding. Throughout the world, Kiva is in over 77 countries. It has a very high repayment rate worldwide of 96%. In the United States, the repayment rate runs about 77%. And part of the reason we think that is because Kiva doesn't send a notice out to people and tell them if you were unable to make your Kiva payment. But your cousin who loaned to you in California is going to notice that she or he didn't get their monthly payment back. And so we think people are very appreciative. They've often been turned down for other loans by banks or lending groups or online lenders. And so they're very appreciative of what Kiva gives them, and they want to have a good repayment rate because they can come back to Kiva over and over for more loans to grow their business. This is a map of the US, and it shows with the dots all the places that Kiva loans take place. You can see right here, I hope you can see my cursor, we have a lot over here in Oklahoma. Until last month, Tulsa had a Kiva hub for 3 years. That Kiva hub has been closed. So the closest Kiva hubs to get assistance are us in Northwest Arkansas, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and down in Clarksdale, Mississippi. I think Clarksdale's down right about there. And so Kiva is a lot in California, a lot in Minnesota, in Wisconsin. Up in Wisconsin are a lot of Kiva hubs, in New York. So those are some of the main places. So this is what Kiva is seeking to assist people with. We call it the missing microloan. We do have micro lenders in Northwest Arkansas. Fayetteville has a Communities Unlimited branch. And Huntsville has a wonderful statewide micro lender called Forge, which stands for Funding Ozarks Rural Economic Growth. And those are great micro lenders. However, they are SBA backed. And so there are some SBA restrictions about felony convictions, being a US citizen, et cetera. And so Kiva helps fill that void. Kiva doesn't have, I'm going to show you some of the requirements for Kiva, and Kiva doesn't have some of the same requirements that are there. Kiva doesn't require collateral to be pledged for these loans. I did a Kiva loan recently for a food truck vendor, and she was able to use her Kiva loan to buy a delivery vehicle when COVID hit, because she wanted to start taking and doing home deliveries, because she had lost her business of funding, of taking out lunches to businesses. And so she was able to get a Kiva loan, buy a small delivery vehicle, and there's no lien on that vehicle. Kiva's collateral is that your community supports you. And we're going to talk a little bit in a minute about the private loans from the community that you first have to give to show Kiva in California that your business is valid and is recognized and supported by the community. We don't require profit loss and balance sheets. I do work with businesses to help them project and be sure that they can afford this Kiva payment when it starts in 6 months, because we don't want to give you debt that you can't handle in 6 months. But the great thing is Kiva's not looking at your income now. They're looking at how your business was doing before COVID and how we think it'll do in 6 months. So it's a great breathing room to have that 6 months of deferred payments. Lenders also, another reason lenders sometimes don't make Kiva type loans is because Kiva loans are from $1,000 to $15,000. Most banks in our area would prefer to have a bottom line business loan of $20,000 at least, because it's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of time for their team. So the very small micro loans are not as attractive to our local lenders. There are alternative options that I talk to people about, like cabbage loans online, credit cards, but those typically have huge interest rates and they have very quick repayment terms, which make the monthly payments very high. So we always caution people about those loans. Kiva loans are 0%. And the reason is that Kiva itself is a nonprofit entity. I'm going to show you a slide in a minute that shows you the difference between Kiva loans and things like Kickstarter donations, Indiegogo donations, and GoFundMe. Big thing is their donations. They're not building that business credit and that business loan practice. Kiva gets donations from major foundations like the Walton Family Foundation. Hitachi this summer donated $1 million to Kiva for loans. Those donations, because Kiva is a nonprofit, those donations enable Kiva to not charge any fees and for the loans to be 0%. So that's a big difference. We are helping people to build the capital ladder. When people come to me and they have very low credit scores, I will refer them to local resources to help them improve their credit score. If they get a Kiva loan and pay it back, they can print off an official documentation from Kiva that they've paid that loan payment every month. And we want to see them moving on to these micro lenders I told you about, like Forge and Communities Unlimited, prepping their credit score and going out to equipment leasing companies. If they just need a piece of equipment, those credit standards are a little bit smaller for equipment companies. And then eventually to build them to community banks. I've had, of my 22 Kiva loans this year, 3 of them were referred to me by community lenders. Bankers who wanted so badly to make a loan to a borrower, but couldn't because of restrictions in their lending policies. And we were able to get them funded with a Kiva loan. So we work very closely. We're not in competition with the banks. My ultimate goal is for all my Kiva lenders in a few years to have their credit restored, to have a good repayment, a solid business plan, and be able to go to community lenders to get the bigger loans for growth. One of the other hats I wear here is as the Startup Junkie Foundation Kiva trustee. And once a person completes a Kiva application online and I review it, I'll be able to see that. If you're in one of the 56 towns in Washington or Benton County, then I will go in and put in a trustee endorsement. telling Kiva, telling future community lenders that I've met with you, I've seen your business or talked to you about your business, I've done business planning with you, that you are a valued person in the community. A lot of times, some of the Kiva lenders are clients that I've worked with for years. And that endorsement helps Kiva in its review process, in the speed of reviewing the loans, and makes Kiva feel more comfortable that this is a really good investment of Kiva's resources. So the loan process itself, like I said, this is a great chart for you to understand that all those companies like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe, they're for-profit businesses. They have spent millions of dollars building those online platforms. They give you access, but there are going to be fees involved. For every dollar someone donates to you on GoFundMe, every time there's a donation, they get 30 cents from that. Then there are fees and costs associated with credit cards and debit cards. Kiva exclusively uses PayPal. The PayPal corporate offices are located near the Kiva corporate offices in the San Francisco region, and PayPal donates its use for free to Kiva because Kiva is a nonprofit. So we exclusively use PayPal. Our borrowers have to have a PayPal account, and our community lenders, friends, family, customers, people who just care about small business, they lend the $25 minimum loan through PayPal. So that's a difference there. Also, as you can see on the chart, Kiva provides people like me and Alvin to help the borrowers with the process. Kickstarter, GoFundMe, Indiegogo, they give you guides, but as far as I know, you can't like call somebody and get them to help you with your campaign. With Kickstarter, we've had some really, really successful Kickstarter campaigns out of Northwest Arkansas. Andrew Gibbs Dabney with Livsin Outdoor Pants Company has raised, I think he's over $300,000 he's raised on Kickstarter. But the way he does that is people donate, but they're promised a pair of the new pants or the new design of the pants, first chance at getting those. So they expect something back. Kiva lenders just want to support you, and the only thing they expect back is for Kiva, when you make your monthly payment, to make them a part of that payment each month to their Kiva account. They don't expect you to give them free food or a pair of pants or anything like that. Our Kiva borrowers so far, every person we've worked with has been approved by Kiva. They have crowdfunded through their community and then online, and they've all 100% been funded. We've had some people fund once they went live at the end of the process for the total funding. They have funded in less than 3 hours. Part of that is because we have a matching loan fund grant from the Walton Family Foundation. So the minute you get your community loans and you go live on kiva.org, you're going to be loaned at 50% at the get-go from the Walton Family Foundation, and then another 25%. So our borrowers in Northwest Arkansas are very fortunate that they're going to fund very quickly. This is kind of a picture, I kind of call it that circle of life, you know, like from the Lion King movie. Kiva is community, and Kiva is a Swahili language, which is used in some African countries, and Kiva means community. There's also a Native American word, Kiva, which means community place. And so disadvantaged persons historically, and so in the United States, that means people that we have documented, people that we've had to pass laws here, women, minorities, immigrants, people with felony convictions, low-income folks, disabled veterans, people who have been denied access in the past. Kiva is here. That's the mission, is to help them get capital access. And then the community, people, the lenders get to give and with very small donations to help. You know, when someone has to have 15 private loans and you're the 15th one, your $25 enabled their dream to come true. The banks and the micro lenders benefit from this because it prepares future credit customers for them. Another thing is our borrowers in Northwest Arkansas, because Startup Junkie has over 20, I think we're up to 22,000 social media newsletter followers, we're able to promote their business. And I've had clients, we have in our video, one of our food truck vendors, Sheena, said she saw a huge uptick in her business at her food truck after we promoted her Kiva loan because so many people found out about it. And then our cities, our banks, our community organizations are thrilled with this program, like the Rogers Low Chamber of Commerce. I've had many referrals from chamber staff helping small businesses in their area and their members. Mayor Jordan in Fayetteville is in our video. He's a big supporter of Kiva and what it does for small business owners. These are some of the basics, what I call just kind of the basic deal breakers to help people determine if Kiva is a good choice for them. You have to be 18 years old. That sounds funny, but at Startup Junkie, we have had a very, very successful 14-year-old make it all the way to Shark Tank that we started working with when she was 11 years old, Sophie Overton. So we do have very successful entrepreneurs that are young in Northwest Arkansas, but to be an actual Kiva applicant, you have to be 18. The loan has to be for business purposes, and that doesn't include paying yourself money, but it can be, as you'll see in a minute, to pay people that you hire, contract workers or employees. The business has to be based in the US. So this is the Kiva US program, and it has to be for business purposes. You will see on kiva.org people in other countries, perhaps fundraising to put a roof on their house, or for tuition for their kids to go to school because in their country there's no public school. But Kiva US is just for business. It is okay if you have a past bankruptcy. You just have to tell when it was, and it has to be closed out. You can't be in a Chapter 13 repayment program because Kiva doesn't know if you're going to complete that or not yet. The business can't be engaged in certain activities, and the activities I'm going to show you that are prohibited are because they're not consumer facing. You, the business owner, must be being paid from direct clients and customers, and not, you know, as a percentage from a corporation, because Kiva's not here to help major corporations. It's here to help small business owners. You're going to have some social capital, and that means a Facebook page. We'd really like for you to have a website. I helped one of my Kiva borrowers learn how to set up a website herself. Kiva knows that's good for your business in the future, and it's going to help spread the word about you raising for your Kiva loan. You do have to have the PayPal account. You cannot have criminal convictions for violent crimes, crimes against children, or for fraud. And Kiva, I've had several clients that have approached me and talked to me and said very much up front, I have a previous felony conviction for this type of crime. Kiva does not discriminate against that. We want to give people that second chance in life. So that is not something that will knock you completely out of a Kiva loan. It's best if you work with me on your application to make sure it's complete, and we don't have to have a lot of back and forth with Kiva in California once it's submitted. You will have to be able to communicate with me with email or a cell phone. I've had Kiva borrowers who don't have a computer, and so they've come in, and during COVID, we socially distance. I sit about 6 feet behind them, and or they sit behind me, and I help them learn how to enter the application. And then they practice going on and going out and working on their application, and they use friends and family's computers or computers at the library. So you just have to be tech willing. You don't have to be a tech guru. The Walton Family Foundation funds are for COVID-19 relief, and that will enable you to get the matching funds as long as I verify that your home-based business or your business that you have out to the public is in Washington or Benton County. You do have to have some documents to prove that the business exists. So if you've just been doing a side hustle kind of out of your kitchen table or your garage, that's okay. But we need you to take the next step. We need you to open a basic business checking account. Takes $100. You can open that as an individual DBA with your social security number. If you've already formed an LLC, then we need those documents, the articles of organization. You need to have an operating agreement. A lot of times people kind of skip that step, and I help connect them with local, very inexpensive attorneys who will draft that, because we have to have a document that says who the members are, how much ownership they have, and who has authority to take out loans for the LLC. And then if you have a federal tax ID letter from the IRS, that's helpful. And it's good to have a business license. A lot of people don't know you can get a home office business license. If you do lawn care work and you go out and work for other people, but you have a computer at home and that's where you keep your books and that's where you communicate with your clients, you have a home office, and it's very simple. All the towns are different, and I help guide people to get a business license. If you're not incorporated, you can go to the Washington or Benton County Courthouse. For $25, you file a doing business as certificate. And legally, you're supposed to be doing that. If you're operating a business out of your house, the county has a right to know that that business is going on, and they like to track that for economic development. So real basic documents that we upload to show Kiva you really are a business and not just an individual. These are some of the types of businesses that are not eligible. Like I said, any that are heavily government regulated, drone businesses, CBD marijuana businesses, those are so regulated by the government that they are too risky for Kiva loans, because a city council, a county board could pass a law and say, okay, no more marijuana dispensaries. They all have to be shut down in the next 5 years. No more drone businesses. We've had too many accidents. So those heavily regulated government businesses, or businesses like Mary Kay, Amway, where you don't get paid from your customers that you sell the goods to, you get paid from that corporation. Those are not typical small businesses that are eligible for Kiva loans. No businesses with adult entertainment, contract workers for corporations, tobacco-based, and you can't get a Kiva loan to refinance debt. Now, you can get an SBA loan. You can go to a bank if you have an operating business and you started it with credit cards. And if you have good credit score above 680, you've got some collateral to pledge, you're a US citizen or have a green card, you can possibly get an SBA loan to refinance debt that is just strapping you as high interest rate and high monthly payments. But Kiva does not offer that. So this is the basic process of starting the loan application. I help you with that. We get it submitted online to Kiva in California. It says Kiva review 1 to 3 weeks. I've never seen a Kiva review take more than 5 or 6 business days. They come back, they make an offer, say based upon your application, you qualify for a $5,000 loan raise or a $10,000. And then get the private loans first, and then that launches you to the Kiva site. And this is kind of a little gauge just to give you an idea. If you only need, $2,000, you may just need 5 private loans made on your Kiva profile. Kiva creates a profile link. I'm going to show you some examples of that in a minute. And people click on it and loan you $25. And once you get your 5 or 10, you're launched on the international site and you fundraise the rest. And so obviously the more money you're fundraising, the more Kiva's going to want the community lenders. That is your collateral pledge. Instead of putting a second mortgage on your home or a lien on the lawnmower that you're going to buy, Kiva wants to see that the community supports you, and that is your collateral pledge, is the community support. These are some of the ideas about the differences between Kiva and other lenders. There's not a minimum credit score. All right. Obviously, if your credit score is an 800, that's going to give Kiva a better risk rating for you, and you might be approved for a bigger loan. But there's no minimum required. Whereas when I was a small business banker, if you didn't have a credit score of at least 680, we really liked 700, I would give you other alternatives. I wouldn't let you waste your time filling out an application for an SBA loan with me. It doesn't require very complicated profit loss statements, balance sheets, and projections, but we do want to have a discussion with you to help you gauge how you think your income might go up for the business if you get a new piece of equipment. And we have multiple acceptance of business documents versus banks have very strict requirements about things that they absolutely have to have to document. They have to have tax return copies. We don't require tax return copies. And banks for SBA loans have to verify those with the IRS, and we don't do any of that with Kiva. All right, these are the uses of Kiva loans, just basically anything. The only things really that you can't use a Kiva loan for are to pay yourself and to pay off debt. Kiva Mostly our loans are used by people for working capital lately, to pay rent, utilities of a store, to pay staff, to keep them on board while the sales are currently down, and for marketing. Kiva loans to build a website or hire marketing people to help. And I'm going to let Alvin go through. I'm going to go through these slides. I'm going to let Alvin talk to you a little bit. Where now you see one of the great Kiva profile photos, and he'll talk to you about that and the 3 phases of how we help you with the Kiva program. So Alvin, I'll keep these slides up, and you just tell me when you're ready for the next.
All right,
slide.
wonderful. Thank you, Martha. Yeah, so one of the things, the good process about this is, like Martha said, it goes into a private link where the borrower has 15 days to recruit as many, as many as possible, but on the slide is sometimes 5 to 40. I've seen 20 lenders, and that's where that's the process as far as marketing. You want to get in your email, database, even your text message database, and just phone call database to say, hey, you've been a supporter, or you've been a customer, or you're a friend and family. Would you be able to lend $25 so I can get, access to this larger capital to increase my business? This is very important too, because it's like Martha said, it's not a donation and just, hey guys, just donate to me, but more of getting your social proof in the community. So, as entrepreneurs, sometimes you can either be really head down and into your business and just, not a big person to ask or to sell. Or you can be an entrepreneur that is not shy of selling and asking people to support you. And so with this process, what I do and with this and the initiative is I come to the business, I see how they interact with their customers, and I try to take a picture to capture them. I didn't take this one. This is a really good one. But all the ones that you can see on our page, you can see some of the examples that I took. And what we want is a landscape picture, and it just shows you smiling, shows you at your place of business, and hopefully that's where people can then read your story to then support you. You can go to the next one, Martha. You got the next slide?
Yeah, that's the next one. You can see this one's the public. Can you see?
Yeah, right here. Yep.
So it changed from, you'll notice, it changed from 18 of 20, which is how many private $25 loans, to now 37% of the total loan needed. So it just switches over once you go on kiva.org.
Yep. So now that you're live and now you're on the national platform, which is good because Kiva has millions of lenders who have just been supporting it over the years, and they are getting the emails and their news feed, or they go to the website monthly, weekly, daily, and they can see the stories of the different borrowers that they want to support. So in this slide right here, where we're showing now that it's public funding and people can now support. So what we do with this initiative, the Walton Family Foundation has already provided a matching fund. So it's actually going to be pretty almost halfway there for some funders when you get to this phase. That does not mean that you just kind of sit back and just wait. What that does mean is that now you have an opportunity to really get your business out there, to make sure that you get that loan that you need. Because when you're fully funded, everything starts from there. You have 6 months to start the grace period to start making your payment on the loan. But it's just really important. I mean, I want to stick with this page right here. It's your story. It's your picture. These things may seem, I can do that myself with my phone, but it's really crafting this letter and this bio into your story. And that's something that Martha's really good at. And where we both sit down with you is ask you the questions, and what is the things that you need the most? Is it more equipment? Is it payroll? Or is it more marketing? What do you actually need so that we can help others who are reading the story then support you? So the good thing is, like with our initiative here in Northwest Arkansas, we have a great community sponsor partnership that is providing a dollar-for-dollar match. So, I mean, that's just a golden opportunity for you. And it just shows that that's how serious we are in trying to help the businesses in our area and in this community.
Yeah, and this slide says you have 30 days to run that. Actually, currently, they've increased it to 45 for the COVID relief. So for right now, for the months to come, we actually have 45. We've never had a borrower have to have that long a time, but that is.
Yep. And so now when you're fully funded, boom. Oh, no, the repayment or the fully funded? Is that repayment? Okay. So now the repayment occurs on a fixed monthly term for the borrower. So this is now where you're actually putting in okay, fully funded. That's before. Yes. So now that you have got fully funded, in this case right here, we see $10,000 powered by 132 lenders. And now that the loans are going to be dispersed to you through your PayPal account within a few days, a week, usually. And then that's when you can really utilize and say, this is now I have the money that I needed. So what are the things that I can get done? And what Kiva does, oh yeah, and the repayment process is now when the fixed terms are set up, you're now able to make the payment onto it. The good thing is that all the lenders who don't lend to you are going to distribute that money back to them by Kiva via PayPal. So you don't have to, spend that extra headache to see how do you repay back the people who lend to you. It's already automated and is really done well behind the scenes as far as what Kiva does. And so that's one of the good things of why they're using PayPal, because there's no fees. And that way, people are hidden with, well, I gave you $25, but the fee is this, and I didn't know that. So that's eliminated. And that's actually a good part of this whole process.
And I want to note that here we have a different picture of a borrower. This is where you can look up her link and see how much she's paid back on her loan. And then also notice here how this looks like a home daycare. So you don't have to have a business. We just want a picture that Alvin is very creative. And notice she put up, she probably made that logo herself and put up on the wall. We've had clients do that, print out their logo because they don't have a store, they're a service business, or it's in their home. Alvin went to one lady's house. She sells baked goods at the farmer's market, and she got a logo and put it on her apron. And Alvin took her picture in her home kitchen with some of her baked goods with her apron on with her logo. The picture is what helps you capture the lender's interest. So someone who's interested in women who bake goods or home-based businesses, they'll know that from the picture. And that's why the picture that Alvin takes is so very, very helpful. So that's the basic presentation about Kiva. Now for a few minutes, I'm just going to show you what it looks like live. These slides you'll get, once again, we'll have all of our info, how to contact us. That's my business cell. As soon as you call that number, it goes to my business phone. And I always tell people, leave a voicemail because I'm busy, but I always return my calls. Cross my heart, promise.
Okay. You stop sharing?
Now, yeah, okay. I'm going to go to the Kiva site.
If you have any questions, feel free. I'm going to look in to answer any.
I got to go back to my screen share again.
I'll say, just in this time period since I've worked, from food trucks to photographers to like home baking to so many different businesses. So it's wide range.
And so here you can see up here is the kiva.org. So this is the international Kiva site. Now, when I work with borrowers, this is where I teach them, like, this is where you live until you get your money. And so they go here to borrow. And the first time, of course, they'll click Get Started to go to the application. Once they've worked through several pages, uploaded some documents, answered questions, then at any time, 24 hours a day, they'll go back here from home and click Continue Application. And every time they log in, Kiva sends them a security code to their email to make sure it's them. They enter a different code. It's completely secure and completely confidential. The only person who sees anything other than your public profile is Kiva and me as the hub manager. And so this is where the borrowers live. The sign in is where one goes when they have a permanent Kiva account. So me personally, Alvin personally, we're both Kiva lenders. We support and we loan to other Kiva borrowers. And so we would click in here, and this is where we have our account that we log into. Once you are fully funded, the borrower will have a permanent Kiva account where they can go look up their payments, send messages to the 200 people. Kiva does that for you. If you want to send an update or a thank you or check in with your lenders, tell them about something, an expansion or a new piece of equipment, you're able to just go there and Kiva sends the message to your 200 people for you. Over here is where our lenders go, obviously. You can choose by category. If you only want to loan to people in agriculture, if you only want to loan or help out people who are raising for education, if that's something that's important to you. I lent a few weeks ago, a story of a mother just hit my heart in Uzbekistan. She's getting divorced. She was an abused woman. She has 2 children and she needed money to make them school uniforms to go to school. And that story just hit my heart. I'm a public school teacher. And so I learned this woman halfway across the world because I want her to have uniforms for her children to go to school. And I found her through education. For ours, you go to North America. And you can see right now there are 64 loans across the country live raising. So they've gone through the application and been approved. They've done the public fundraising. They've gotten 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 private loans to their account. And now they are raising live. And you can see all the different, oh, look, there's someone from Hawaii. That's interesting. I don't see that one as much. You will see a lot in California because that's where Kiva started. We have a lot of hubs there. So lots of folks in California, Florida. Here's someone from Houston. There are no Kiva hubs in Houston. So Maria did this all on her own. I'll click on hers. And you can see up here, she has a number. That link is what you can copy and then paste into Facebook, and it makes a little picture box. That link is what you can text out to friends and family all over the world. And when they click it, they go to this profile that looks like this. You can see she has 29 of her 45 days. So she's been up for about, 14, 15 days. She has 8,000 to go. And this is how much she's funded so far. It tells you what she's needing it for to grow her inventory and launch a website. So she needs to build a website. It tells her story about her background, her education, how she loves what she does with Glomex Arts. And then it tells about the business. She has great passion and joy in helping people. Glomex Arts tells its story with unique items we're able to share with the world. We create and sell original pieces. So she's a creative and artist, and tells us that she's going to use the loan for the website. And then you can see all the people and lending teams who have loaned to her. You can be anonymous. 2 people have been anonymous. You don't have to tell that you're a lender. Some people want to put their picture up and tell where they're from. So all these people have loaned her at least $25 each. And when she starts her payments, every month Kiva will take a percentage of that and pay them back. And then at the end, when they have their $25 or $50 or $100 in their Kiva account, they contact Kiva through their account and say, please put that back in my PayPal. And Kiva transfers it to their PayPal, or they can turn around and relend it. So Kiva provides this fabulous platform, and all of that is paid for by donations from people around the world who care about Kiva borrowers and Kiva's mission. And then,
just a side note on that part is important because, I mean, as we're dealing with these times right now, as businesses are, trying to get PP loans and business loans shut down or not, it's just really good to see community like that. Like, that was amazing for her to have that many lenders without a hub and just people who, are locally investing. So that's really why this is so important for what we're doing.
Oh, here I found one. There it is. And so you'll see on some of them, they have this little banner. Here it says matching by Diller von Furstenberg. And so you can click on that. Ours will have a banner on there that says matching from the Walton Family Foundation. And so that lets people know that this borrower is going to have a match. It tells all of the details about the loan, how many months he'll have to pay it back. And it shows that he's been endorsed by the Wisconsin Women's Business Initiative. Ours would say trustee endorsed by the Startup Junkie Foundation as a trustee. So it helps the lenders understand why this is a valid business and makes them feel more comfortable and that they're going to get repaid. And you can see there's even lending teams. People join groups. Here's Christians for Kiva. I had a client, if you can get the team, the Christians for Kiva and the Atheists for Kiva, you fundraise really fast because they compete with each other. I had a client, she's like, boy, I funded fast. So we got these two groups. So there are all kinds of lending teams. There are Sunday school groups, women's groups. You've got Kiva Nerd Fighters. There are tech groups. People form teams with their friends and family all over the world and want to support small business owners.
Absolutely.
And so, like I said, if you want to see the different types we've done, you can go to our site. Let me see. Can you, Alvin, are you still seeing the site?
Yep, our site's right there. And
yeah. And when you click on this, you can see all the great pictures Alvin has taken of our borrowers. And so like Sally has a store in Uptown in Fayetteville, so he went there. Tanisha is a great example. She's a startup and she's going to do online services, helping companies match students who want to be interns because she works in community. She works at the Fayetteville Community Center and works with student interns. And so she has her logo all done. She had that printed up. She came here. We've got the laptop because that's where she's going to be working. So the story is there to tell what you do. This is Nick. He has copied code. This was very creative of he and Alvin. He put his logo on the screen. He has a tech company and his goal is to employ as many minorities and women in tech, and this is in his office. And then of course we have Shane, who was funded by Kiva. He's in Springdale, Arkansas, and he is the first minority owner of a Snap-on tool franchise in Northwest Arkansas now due to his Kiva loan. And his story tells that he had applied for a loan at a bank, but he was turned down. And so this was very, very helpful to him. He's now a business owner and owns his own truck. So we'll get creative and help you figure out a picture that tells the story of what you do, whether you have a business or not. This is the one of Gail I was telling you about, the baker in her kitchen. So thank you for coming on today and learning about Kiva. We'll be sending these slides out. This video will be uploaded to the Rogers Lowell Area Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel to share. If you know people who are in groups and like to give back and want a very inexpensive way to support small businesses, maybe they can't go, they're tired of going out to eat and they don't need to buy any clothes. This is a great way to support our Northwest Arkansas small businesses, and lenders can contact me. I've gone out and talked a couple of times to groups that are interested in becoming lenders and wanted to really understand Kiva and how they get paid back via Kiva in California when the lender makes a payment. You know, an example is if you get a $10,000 Kiva loan, starting in 6 months, you'll pay for 36 months, $277 a month. If I loaned you $25, I'll get about 69 cents a month put in my Kiva account. And at the end of 3 years, I'll have $25. I can tell Kiva to send that back to me via my PayPal, or I can loan it out to another Kiva borrower. So Kiva takes care of all the administration. And that's the beauty of the program, and the fact that Kiva is a nonprofit is they take care of all that paperwork, and the business owner just takes the money and takes off with their business and grows it, and then makes those payments and builds a good capital ladder and credit history. So Karen, do we have any questions?
I answered one of them already. One was
Okay.
the maximum.
Alvin, do you want to go ahead and restate that so Martha knows?
Yep. The question was, what was the max loan amount? And 15,000, right?
15,000 for now. And we think that's still going to be for a while. Kiva was traditionally in the US only up to 10,000, but it's 15,000, and we think for several more months that will continue to be that higher amount. And remember, once you've paid off a Kiva loan, you can come back. And if you paid it on time, you're going to get approved much more quickly and for more funds. So it's a great little way, almost like a small, line of credit to come back to every few years. We have a business in Fayetteville called Olive Loom, owned by Lou Reed Sharp. And she's in our video talking about how she's already had 2 Kiva loans and anticipates getting another one in a year or 2.
Nice. Well, I want to thank Martha and Alvin for this wonderful program. This was really informative, and I hope our participants watching, both live and those folks who watch it once it's on YouTube, get a lot out of this program. And we want to encourage you to share it with others. It's a wonderful opportunity for small businesses to take advantage of a zero interest loan. So we do want to thank the participants who are joining us. And I will send the recording link to you when we have it on YouTube. I'll also send Martha's slides so that you'll have those. And of course, you can always contact us at the Rogers Lowell Area Chamber of Commerce for any business related questions or suggestions, or if you have ideas for a future C2C workshop, we'd love to hear it from you. So thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see everyone. Thank you, Karen and Jeff.